I tried it. It was good.
Grape jelly?
Yep.
Tim West does
Tim
that.
West does it.
It takes great, and it takes some your favorite tobacco and put it on a sheet pan, put it in the oven, and make it like toast it, and makes it like powder. So he puts the grape jelly, and then he puts some of the tobacco powder in there, and that helps to start the cake.
Just to get a little bit of grape jelly, put it on your finger, rub it
in there.
Rub it inside the bowl.
Well, that's why I do the honey. But what I do when I break in a new pipe is I do the Dunhill deal, a third of a bowl. When it's down there, I get it and shake it, just shake it all up. And I've got already a little bit of cake started. And then I do the next 2/3 of the bowl and then a full bowl. And it's caked up. And I always just, mix it around, shake her up, and it's worked for me for a lot of years.
But just by smoking it correctly, it's going to build a cake no matter what. I mean, even if you have a raw, natural inside with nothing in it, you smoke it right, it's going to cake.
I've been smoking a pipe for going on 45 years now, and I gotta say that I have to reiterate what Bruce is saying. I mean, the Alfred Dunhill wrote a book, and most of us have never seen that book. It's not the gentle art of pipe smoking, it's the gentle art of, well, there's two of them. There's one out that's gentle art of pipe smoking, and one is gentle art of smoking. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a
gentle art of smoking.
Yeah, and he tells you in there about how to break in a pipe, and it is, it's in increments. You might start with a 3/4 bowl the first time, but the next bowls are a third of a bowl, and then a half, and so forth, and you build up the cake up this way so that the cake funnels down like the bowl shape does. Today's world, what I've seen in, the reason I mentioned 45 years, what I've seen in, what we're doing nowadays is, everything's got to be right away. So we fill the thing full of tobacco and we start smoking it right away. Now that works for some people and some people swear by it, but I think the best method is to be gentle with that virgin bowl and be patient.
Patience, everything.
Because if you build the cake right, I refurbish pipes longer than I did, refurbish and repairs longer than I made them. And I can't tell you the pipes, beautiful, wonderful pipes that I worked on for people who just couldn't understand why their pipe wasn't smoking well. And I bring that bowl out and I find the bottom of the bowl was not even burned. It's like a brand new bowl down there. And that can't be. You're gonna get resins and all kinds of juices down there that are going to build up, and it's not going to be good. You have to burn that bowl properly and cake it properly, and it's got to start with the bottom. You always, you ask the question, I'm just giving you my opinion, you always must smoke that bowl to the bottom. I don't care how bad it is on the bottom. That's what, if you want a good
breaking in a pipe.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's why I do the
Always
1/3, 1/3 deal, because I never smoke a bowl past here. I just don't smoke it down to ash.
Yeah.
It's what I want. I just don't like the taste of it way on down.
Yep.
So that I have to go ahead and get a little bit of cake down
Do you all drill the draft holes to a certain size, like 30 seconds?
A lot of it's dependent on how big how big the bowl is. A little smaller bowl, yeah, maybe 5/32, a bigger bowl, maybe 11/64s. It's like 4.4 millimeter. But there's also a gazillion different opinions on the size of draft hole. But generally, if a draft hole is too small, you got to suck on it like crazy and it produces a lot of heat and steam. So usually a bigger draft hole is going to smoke a little bit better. Stay a bit longer.
I find that problem with a lot of the foreign pipes. They drill them too small.
Yeah, and you got to really try to hit it really hard. It just never smokes well and just always goes out.
Too small is an 1/8 of an inch, and that's what they drilled them at for years and years and years, was an 1/8 of an inch.
There's a lot. I drill everything to 5/32, everything. And I take a lot of time opening up here, but the most important is at the lip button when you open it up, in my opinion. Because I try to get a strong V in there, so when the smoke starts to expand, it's going to start down here. And and I try to get consistency. You know, and you also hear a lot of poop about, oh, well, that tendon's got to butt down to the mortise. Well, no, it doesn't. You know, I mean, if you ever look at any old Dunhills, you got about this much space.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's still okay. You got to get in there and clean it out a little bit. But I try to stay, you know, where when somebody takes out the stem and push it back in, it's not going to stop because there's a buildup there. I like to leave about a 1/16 of an inch or so. You know, just enough. But my opinion is that the lip button is really important, that you have that open. And I like to make sure that a fluffy pipe cleaner goes right through, because you ain't smoking snuff in them, you're smoking tobacco. So
It's important for the holes to line up. A lot of pipes, you can't put a pipe cleaner in, the holes are way misaligned. Well, that gives you turbulence, it gives you a bad spot, as opposed to everything matching exactly perfect, and you get a nice smooth draw. That's important.
yeah, and sometimes that's a trick when you're making a bent pipe or whatever. It's causes a little bit of a conundrum.
Yeah, and you gotta try to ramp it.
Yeah, you do a
You gotta
little.
ramp it,
Yeah.
the hole that just don't match, and the pipe cleaner will never go in it.
But a lot of times, that's the first thing somebody will do. They'll pull out a pipe
And try
cleaner.
to stick it through.
Go, James.
You know, talk about the cake. I on one hand got probably 75 bowls or so to it. It's a brand new pipe made by Robbie. There's no cake in it per se. Because I'm a pot burner. Pick up my pipe and you won't hold the sucker. Now the style of how you smoke it, Robbie smokes his pipe slow. He can't let his pipe sit on here for 3-4 minutes and get out and draw smoke. And he develops cake because he was looking at my pipe here a while back.
Now I asked him, I said, you know, do you ream this thing? And I know he's had a bunch of bowls through it. And he goes, no, I've never reamed it. And I couldn't believe it. There's no kids, no nothing. I mean, there's just enough for it to be broken in and smoke well, not singe the wood, but it's not a real thick, heavy build-up. Because I've seen pipes that guys smoke and never ream them, and you can barely stick a pencil. It's so much carbon.
Does that not relate to the style of smoking? As opposed to I burn the sucker when it gets hot and tobacco burns.
I think it's so
Oh,
hot
I
over
burn
here.
to the heel. I'm just, you know, fanatic about that. If it doesn't taste grody on the last inhale, then you didn't do a good job smoking the pipe. But does that, you know, I don't know, we got a whole room full of pipe smokers here.
Well, sometimes a pipe maker might make a little bit of, do you smooth out your bowls a little bit?
Yeah, I'll sand them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people, like you said, don't. It gives it a little bit of tooth on the inside for,
Yeah,
for it to
I
start
like
to grab.
I go in there with maybe 150 grit or something like that sometimes.
Rough it up.
Yeah, and rough it up.
A lot of it's for the feel. A lot of people will come and, you know, oh, that feels really nice, really smooth. So a lot of people get off on just what it feels like, but it's probably better if it is a little bit on the rough side. So it's going to get carboned up and kicked, so it doesn't have to really look pretty.
I think what James is saying too, there's a lot of difference in it. There's so many variables. I mean, it could be in how you're packing the pipe. You know, everybody packs different. There's all these packing theories out there now, and you know, and for example, I smoke like you do. I smoke a lot harder than most people do because I smoke faster. So you know, somebody tells me, oh, that pipe's going to take you 2 hours to smoke. Well, some people it would take me 40 minutes to smoke that. You know, I just smoke faster and puff harder, I guess. I don't know. So I think it has, you know, something to do with that. I think it has more to do with packing though